Hey everybody, welcome back. I am God's humble messenger. In today's video, I want to discuss the war in Israel and if it could be the beginning of events that will lead to the return of Jesus. This video is based off the article on my website titled, "Could the war in Israel be the beginning of the end?" I will put a link in the description below. You can also find more articles on my website you should definitely check out with more on the way. You can also find links to my social media accounts on my website. Alright, on to my message for today. The war in Israel has been brewing for a while and tensions have finally spilled over. The war has begun, and with it, possibly the end of the age. This isn't just speculation on my part though, as I have biblical evidence of this being the case. The evidence comes from the book of Luke, chapter 21, and you don't have to take my word for it because these are the words of Jesus himself. There's nothing I like more when reading my Bible than seeing those red letters, signifying that Jesus is about to speak. And usually when he does, it's important, especially when he talks about the end of the church age, which is the era we are currently living in. This is exactly what he speaks about in Luke 21:20 through 28. I'm not going to discuss every verse here, but it is definitely worth the read, so I would highly recommend checking it out. In fact, all of Luke 21 is a great read, especially when it comes to this matter. The first verse I want to discuss is Luke 21:20, where Jesus says, "When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you will know its desolation is near." Now, I know it isn't Jerusalem specifically that is surrounded, but Israel has been surrounded by its enemies for a while, and this situation has been like a powder keg ready to blow. And finally, it has, with the war starting. The next verse is Luke 21:23, where Jesus says, "How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers." It is heartbreaking to hear what has been happening to the women and children of Israel as their enemies are slaughtering them without remorse. I won't go into detail, but Israel's enemies are killing anyone and everyone they come across, sometimes in a horrific manner. And these instances do involve children. It's just sickening to think about, but it does line up with what Jesus says in Luke 21:23. In verse 24, he talks about the people of Israel being taken prisoner, which is also happening. In Luke 21:25, Jesus says there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars, which have begun to happen, and that on the earth nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. When we think of what the word sea means, we think of the oceans, of waters and waves, but many have theorized that in this context and in Revelation, sea could mean people. This is the case in Revelation when sea is mentioned. It is referring to people. And the conflict in Israel has certainly caused an uproar amongst the people here in the United States, with them taking both sides and vehemently arguing, protesting, and the like. This is just a long line of two sides clashing over this issue or that, this political candidate or that one, or anything and everything we can think of to be divided over. But it isn't just in the United States, as protests and an uproar of anger have broken out all over the world. This one just feels different, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence anyway. The final verse I want to mention is Luke 21:28. When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Lift up your heads refers to watching the skies for the return of Jesus. Now, this doesn't mean walking around staring at the sky all the time, but we must be aware that his return is imminent. We must watch for the signs to see the events foretold transpiring right before our very eyes. And these events have started to come to fruition, with the signs in the stars, prophecies coming to pass, and now the war in Israel. If you haven't been paying attention or haven't noticed, it's time to wake up. The return of Jesus is nigh, and we need to be ready. And that's my message for today. I hope you found something useful in today's message, some encouragement, inspiration, or maybe just some comfort knowing that God is always working for your good. Please share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Also, if you have a story about how God touched your life or someone's life you know, email me. With your permission, I might want to turn it into a video. Even if you don't want me to share your story on my channel, email me. We can talk privately about your story or anything else you have going on. I'm happy to email back and forth about anything. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, that would be great and I would love that. But I want to mention that I don't do this for the views or the likes or to get as many subscribers as possible. I started this channel and make these videos to spread God's word, to spread hope, and to inspire. To allow Him to work through me with the hope that I can reach others. If I can get just one person to dedicate or rededicate their lives to the Lord, then I've done my job. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. God bless.